there's a lot of
Okay.
noise.
Right. Just a second, I need to stop sharing to do that. And
Sorry, or we can mute individually, and that way we can talk.
Okay, mute. Where do I mute all?
Just each individual mute for him.
Okay. Mute. Sorry, guys. All right, I'll unmute y'all later. Oh, I guess mute all would have been a better one. That's funny. Okay, so back to this. Ta-da! I already said that, and that. Okay, so the clean crafted message is something that you need to go over probably like while you're driving, in the shower, you're drinking your wine, everything. Start up at the top left and be able to say this whole clean crafted message. You know, Scout and Cellar is grown naturally with no pesticides. It's organic wine. That means that there's nobody in a hazmat suit spraying down the grapes up and down the vineyards. You're gonna get an organic grape, most likely grown in biodynamic farms from all over the world. And then just keep on going down. Most of these are harvested from old vines. What that means is they're gonna have more flavor and more concentration, a little bit smaller, lower yields, but better wine. Wildly delicious. I mean, everything tended by actual people and not mass produced by industrial machines. What that means is you're not gonna get the rotten grapes in the stems from these machines picking up all the grapes and sending it into a vat where in this metal container and then using chemicals to get rid of the sour grape taste or using fining agents to get rid of the stems and stuff. But what you're gonna get is only the best grapes. So we don't need to do all that. You just blah, blah, blah. So as long as you can articulate every part of this, and a lot of that comes from the, you know, all the other stuff I said, from the knowledge from those homeworks and stuff, the Wine 411, all of that. So as long as you can articulate this, you'll be able to sell our brand and our wine. Our wine will almost be secondary because they're buying into our brand. And I don't want to say as a salesperson because you don't need to be a salesperson to do this, but as a consultant, what you're really doing is selling this journey, this brand, and clean crafted wine. It's not so much a rosé you're selling, you're selling the brand. So next, Miss Mandy Lou is gonna talk to you about tastings.
Yes. So once we want everybody, obviously, like we're all excited when we sign up, and then, you know, we kind of need to know, like, where do I go from here? What's next? How do I really like jump in and get started? And, you know, no matter what your goals are, whether you're a hobby, just doing it as a hobby or side gig, or whether you're wanting to work it full time, it's always a good idea to go ahead and try to get your first tasting booked within the first 2 weeks of starting. You don't need to know everything. I mean, you know, we're all still learning, and we've been here over a year. You know, we learn new stuff about wine and clean crafted and all that good stuff all the time. So don't feel like you need to know everything. That's what, you know, some other resources are for that we have that we'll talk about in just a second. You're going to be successful trying to book, you know, 2 to 3 tastings a month. And like I said, that first one within 2 weeks is always just a good rule of thumb. And they don't have to be huge. You know, they can be anywhere from small groups of friends, like a small dinner party, to like a big old gathering of a whole bunch of people. It's totally up to you. I would go ahead and stock up on wine, especially, I always recommend this for everybody, especially if you don't live where you can go and do local pickup. Just because that way you'll be ready for those last minute opportunities when people are like, hey, you know, can we do a tasting this weekend, or a last minute get together, or you're, you know, I don't know, Rodan and Fields friend is like, hey, do you want to do a joint party? I have something coming up next week. It takes longer than that, unfortunately, to ship to us right now. So it's just a good idea to kind of go ahead and stock up, and that can help you reach your goals as well, since we make commission on all of our personal purchases too. like I mentioned a second ago, you can totally host your own tasting. That's what I did for my first one. I actually booked the tasting. I say booked. I invited like 6 or 7 friends and neighbors that live right around me to come over one night, and then hoped and prayed that my wine would come in time and I didn't have to serve them water. And it did. And so but friends and neighbors are a great, easy group to start with. You know, they love you. They're willing to like overlook the fact that you melted the brie and it looks like a giant disaster. And, you know, if you happen to break the cork off when you're trying to take it out of the bottle, like that's not a big deal either. So anyway, I would start with people that you feel comfortable with, you know, and say, I'd love to practice on you. I'd love to get feedback. I'm really excited about this and I want to share it with you guys. And
I used an electric corkscrew always, and Sarah hates those. Okay, so don't tell her if you do use those. And so I was like, I've never used a normal corkscrew that came in my BBK. So my first tasting, it was like all my PTA mom friends, and they were like teaching me how to do that at my own tasting. So anything goes. Friends are forgiving.
They were teaching me about wine
and pairings. Yeah.
So Court did a really good live with a lot of tips on, you know, tastings and getting started and stuff like that in Wild Vines and in Crazy Cellar just a couple days ago. So if you haven't watched that live video yet, I would go back and watch it. I believe it's pinned actually at the top of Wild Vines, but to this point, it's in your best interest, I think, and in your long-term financial interest to purchase some reusable supplies, meaning glasses, like smaller glasses. I thought you were trying to get some. No. IKEA has them. Walmart has them. Target probably has them. You know, they're like $6 for $5 or $5 for $6 or one of those two. Anyway, and they're small, like little 6 or 8 ounce glasses where your tasting pour looks like a lot more wine in those small glasses than it does in the big, nice glasses. And I'm always terrified that I'm going to break a hostess's nice glass. But if one of those cheap ones breaks, I don't care. I can just go get another one.
Can y'all see the normal, like, Pottery Barn one versus the tasting one? Like, this is the difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
And they're perfect. So 1.5 ounce pour is actually substantial.
Yeah, and, you know, things like pens and clipboards and just stuff that you can take to a tasting, then gather it up and take it home and take it to your next one and things like that. And Courtney and I have, and I don't know if Carrie has the same one or not, but we went to IKEA and got like a plastic carrying case and some dividers, and that's what we keep our glasses in. So anyway, all of that stuff is on the Facebook Live video that she did, and it's all, I think, good stuff to invest in. I've been doing it a year, and I haven't had to buy any more glasses yet. So I mean, I probably am getting close because I personally have broken several washing them, but
they're dishwasher safe too.
They are dishwasher safe. Yeah, make sure to practice your why. You know, if you don't believe it, then you're not going to be able to make other people believe it. You know, I mean, tell people. And like Court said, your reason is going to be different from the next person's, but as long as it's authentic to you and you tell people why you're excited about it. Like for me, I saw the ground floor opportunity and I thought it was awesome. I didn't know much about wine. I didn't drink much wine before this, but I love that I feel better drinking this wine. And now, of course, everything that I've learned about Clean Crafted makes such a huge difference. And I love the people. Like the people and social aspect of it is what keeps me going every day. You know, I get to connect with new people and be a teammate and a leader and all sorts of stuff. So that part of it has been really fun for me. So you just have to figure out whatever that is for you and, you know, practice presenting it probably better than I just did. And, you know the Scout and Cellar message, what we are, what we're about. And honestly, if you haven't watched Sarah's video about, it's for opportunity gatherings is what it's intended for. It's in the back cellar under the announcements when you log in. And it's a brand new one that she just did going over, you know, the whole, like how she started Scout Cellar. But it's so fun to hear her talk about discover the unknown good and what that really means to her and how it's not just about the wine. It's, you know, about discovering the unknown good in ourselves and in our teammates and, the environment and these small family vineyards and all sorts of stuff. So, learn that, practice that, the Clean Crafted message, and that's our motivation statement, our
mission. Yeah.
Mission statement. Thank you. And then wine pronunciation. So there are a lot of videos in the backcellar under the wine and where she pronounces them for us and then kind of talks about each one. So definitely worth going through and listening to those and just kind of practicing so that you feel confident when you're talking about them to other people.
There's this YouTube thing like Gewürztraminer and stuff, like you type it in, and it's like, how do you pronounce on YouTube? And then this lady was like, Gewürztraminer, Gewürztraminer.
That's why I wanted to say sommelier. I had to
sommelier. So I'm like sommelier. Oh my gosh. And Montepulciano, whatever. So yeah.
So backcellar or YouTube, either one works.
Yeah.
Yes, and definitely at your tastings, I would get there at least 30 minutes early so that you can set up and kind of, calm your nerves, talk to your hostess, have everything the way that you want it and not feel like you're rushed. And that will set you up for success for sure. So.
All right. Use the tasting cards to read about the wine. So if y'all don't know where they are, they're in the back cellar and they're all like really nice. You can print them on a half sheet. And what I would do is print out not just the ones that you're going to taste, but even the ones you're going to talk about too. We'll get to that in a second, but you don't need to memorize them. We have like so many new wines coming in at all times, like no need to memorize them. But what you're going to want to do is at least let them know the story and behind the wine, not so much that it has strawberries and rhubarb or whatever, but that it's, from a small vineyard in Italy, that's 5 generations of, blah, 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 and how they got the name and et cetera. So building a connection, like that's the marketing person to me, like you want to build an emotional connection to that wine. And that's what they're going to be buying. So by printing those out, you can pass them around, and I guarantee you people are going to stop and read some. And then even if they're just thrown out on the table, people are going to pick them up and read them too. And then this is what I was going to talk about after, is once you pour a wine, let's say you're on your first white, so you're gonna talk about the wine, then you're gonna pour it. While they're drinking that wine, for example, you're drinking the Dove Hunt Dog Sauvignon Blanc. If you like a Sauv that's more like blah, 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 that tastes like this is yours. But we have another Sauvignon Blanc that just came in from Argentina. And if you like this type of Sauv, this may be yours. Here's the tasting card. It's from this type of vineyard. Tell a couple snippets about it. Pass that tasting card. I talk about 2 wines other than the one I'm drinking. So I do a pour and then talk about 2 others. I want 50% of my sales to be from wines they didn't even taste. That means that you're painting a picture. You're making them like to almost taste a wine. You're doing so well. And the more you talk about other wines that you're not even talking about, that you're not even pouring, you'll have larger sales for sure. So, like our Sauvignon Blancs have been really good. And I love the Dove Hunt Dog. I love the Han Sabatian. I know we have the new one that is amazing. I had it the other night. So I think that if people like Sauvs, they definitely need one of each, especially because it's a great price point. So just talk about 2 more after you do pour the first. You always discuss wine club and business opportunities, if not once, twice. And I do this during the whole like Sarah's story, Clean Crafted, and maybe after the first or second or between the whites and reds, say the way you purchase our wine is through the wine club. Basically just tell them the wine club, and at the end you can buy a la carte bottles if you want, but you sell the wine club. And it's a very flexible, consider me your wine concierge. You can do 6 or 12 bottles, white, red, or mix for the 6 bottle, and then red or mix for the 12 bottle. The benefit to you is you get convenience. A level 3 sommelier is picking out your wine. You get another 5% off the volume discount. So you're getting 15% off your 12 bottles. So I encourage 12 bottle wine clubs because you get 15% off. And and of course convenience, and you get all the latest and greatest clean crafted wines because our wines are rotating every few weeks. So always talk about the wine club, and then the business opportunity. You know, sometimes it's like towards the end. And the way I slide that in too is say, you know, we had so much fun today, and everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, so much fun. I'm looking for new teammates. This is a new company and a ground floor opportunity. And the way you make it not so threatening is you say, I know y'all are busy and whatever, got kids and jobs and all that. But if you know anyone that is interested in a ground floor opportunity, 1 year old, we still have, I mean, infancy is still considered 3 years of a company. So we're like barely born type. And, you know, anyone looking for either just some side cash or someone who's looking for a whole, you know, business to run. If, you know anyone that is passionate about wine or is, wants a little, you know, social outlet and stuff. If y'all know anyone like that, your sister, your brother, your cousins, your neighbors, ex-coworkers, send them my way. And for every referral you give me for a consultant, I'll give you a bottle of wine. And then they'll be like, well, I mean, what about me? Like you said, do I know of anyone? Oh yeah, you too. I mean, I'd love for you on my team, of course, you know, but you make it less threatening when you ask them if they know of anyone. So, because sometimes they may be like, I'm not so sure. So I've had good success with that. Ask questions during the tasting to keep them involved and focused. So, you know, this is the Quefico Rosé. What did y'all think it was going to taste like? I saw it as like a deeper pink. I thought it was going to be super sweet. What about you? Did you think it was going to be super sweet? I know, right? What did you think compared to the last wine we taste? Is this like typical rosé for you? Like, what in a rosé do you like? What compared to this, you know? Some people say this tastes like a fresh picked strawberry. Do you think so? Or, you know, the more involvement you get, the better. So, and you kind of want them to sell themselves. Like, isn't this so smooth? Hey, don't you think this is so smooth? Yeah, sure. Okay, for sure. It's a whole sales thing. You get them to sell themselves, so you're not having to sell them so much. And then you let them know you'll collect the order form and answer questions after the tasting. It never seems to shock me when I go to a tasting and there's someone who doesn't even order, yet they just drank like 6 of my wines and stuff. So I kind of you know, I get that one taken care of usually by, you know, after we're about to taste our last wine, and then I'll be collecting your order forms. Make sure, I know we've all had some wine, but make sure you print your you know, credit card legibly and everything so I can read it. Show me your papers, everyone. Is your credit card legible on there? I know we've had some wine, you know. And so then you have everyone fill out all that information. We're about to taste our last red, and you know, I'm going to collect order forms, answer any questions and stuff after this. So you let them know. I also offer, is this on there? Maybe later. It might be later in the thing. So anyway, so yes. And then different ways to gauge success of tasting. Okay. So there's many ways to gauge whether a tasting is successful. Did you sell a lot? Cool. Thumbs up. You may not have sold a lot, but did you get a new consultant? Cool. What if the only thing you walked away with is 2 wine clubs? Well, what is that value in a year? You know, multiply it out in a year. What's that value? Cool. Awesome. Did you book more tastings? And so there's so many ways to gauge the success of a tasting. So whether you sold $1,000 in wine or didn't get any consultants or whatever, it doesn't matter so much as long as you had some type of success. And believe me, I can find success in any type of tasting, and I've had some crazy tastings. So, but you need to find success. And if it's not immediate, you need to like take what you got and make something out of it. You got email addresses, cool. That's all your future customers. Those are people that you can follow up with. So make a lemonade out of your lemons if it doesn't go 100% right. All right, Miss Carrie.
Okay, so some of this might be on repeat, but kind of they say if you say somebody's name 3 times, you remember it. So if I repeat whatever you guys went over, you know, it'll help everybody kind of learn. I kind of made some notes. I'm still learning so much from Courtney. I'm like taking notes, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about as I pour to mention the other wines as well, because I'm so hyper focused on what I'm doing, or, you know, everybody's kind of reaction, or I'm letting people talk a little, but, you know, really try to take the room. I guess I've kind of been like apologetic about, you know, letting them hang out or whatever, but, you know, they're there to learn. They're there for a tasting. A lot of people are really wanting to really consume the information and become educated on this. So, a few notes just first, something I learned from one of my friends, or from a few of my friends that are sommeliers, as we discussed the glasses, if at all possible, or the first thing you need to do is use glass. So we've talked about this before, but I mean, as much as you can, we know if it's something a little bigger, and, you know, my big things, you know, we can go into more detail about these big events and kind of where you can put up displays and not have wine or whatever. But for something that maybe is like 25 to 30 people, instead of just cheapo plastic cups or the little airplane cups, they have some really good acrylic, like shot glass cups that might be just the only thing other than glass I would use. I mean, totally understandable if so, but there's some good ones on Amazon or at party stores or whatever. But anyways, I just kind of jotted that down. But first thing would be glass, because it's like they say, it's like holding your nose and drinking wine when you drink out of plastic. So especially those like fake plastic wine glasses, those really mask the flavor. And, you know, we're really highlighting some of these wines, and there's been studies on different types of glass and stuff. So also 30 minutes before a tasting, arrive and open your reds up. That was kind of a little note I found somewhere, and let the reds breathe. If you choose, you can decant that earlier that day. Some of the, you know, bolder wines, the South American wines, again, that's stuff that can be learned later, but just, that was something kind of, I try to remember as I went into a tasting. I'm just kind of standing around. I'm like, oh, I should have opened up the red wine, you know? So, anyways.
That's part of setting up, like set your glasses up, open up your reds, decant all your reds. I showed y'all on that live, the decanter I use. I always put them right back into the bottle, put the cork in, they're decanted and ready to go. Go put them chilled. Always serve reds chilled. Do not serve it room temperature. It's not good to do that. So
and not super cold either, but just
not super cold, chilled, just slightly chilled, to where it's not, because Sarah says when you serve them room temperature and they've been transported, sometimes it can translate into a little warm, and you don't want that. If anything, you want it a little chilled. So they call it cellar temperature.
Yeah, especially if you're in Texas, and you know, we're different elsewhere, but here room temperature is hot. So yeah, I just, again, my notes were, memorize that Clean Crafted infographic that Courtney mentioned, memorize that whole thing. And it's just, you just sound great. You know, I mean, the thing I say most is people always bring up the sulfite thing. And I say, you know, well, a typical, you know, we're not just going after the sulfites, or not going at, but we are approaching all the things that wines contain. And, you know, I feel like I sound really smart and professional when I say, you know, in this typical mass-produced wine, there's between 250 to 300 parts per million of sulfites. And they may not know what parts per million means, but you say, you know, basically, I don't know if I can touch that. But basically we have less than 100, and most of them are less than 50. So that comment, that little tidbit right there can really bring somebody in, and you sound like, you know, okay, I know what I'm talking about. I don't think I can do it. Switch the slide from my.
Okay, no, there we go.
Okay, there we go. So that's basically, memorize that Clean Crafted infographic, read and get familiar, memorize the Wine 411 document. It's
Carrie, are you seeing the sales tips from your leaders?
Just that first one.
No. Oh, okay. Here we go. There?
Yes.
Okay, because I had another share screen with another one on. Okay, good. All right.
There we go.
There, sorry.
No. So yeah, talk about your business wherever you go. So this is, you know, really just, this is really like so easy. I feel like so much easier to do than whenever I've tried this with another MLM. company where it's like a skincare company where it's a forced kind of way to work it into a conversation. It just comes really easily with wine. And especially if you're at one of these networking events where you're meeting people that have all these other businesses, and you kind of get in the middle of the room and you stand up and give your elevator pitch after several people have done it. And you could say, I'm so happy to learn about your jewelry business and your boutique and your, men's clothing line and your, skincare. I can bring wine to any of your events. Please contact me if, you're already setting up these events and you need to bring customers in. And it's a great way to get people in and to try these wines, and we can work together. And so inevitably I end up grabbing all their cards and setting up tastings with them for their existing events. So that's another.
This can even be like you're at the dentist or the hair place, or you're talking to your financial planner. Well, you give corporate gifts too. Would you consider, since I give you my business, giving wine as a gift for the holidays? Just if the more you talk about it, the more you're going to sell. So I was talking to the FedEx guy when I picked these up the other day. He was like, "What's Scout and Cellar?" I was like, "Well, I'm glad you asked." So just talking, like you're at the baseball games and you're drinking a 14K, because that's what I do at baseball games. And someone's like, "What is that canned?" I'm like, "It's canned wine. Have you not heard about it?" And stuff. So, I signed a fellow baseball mom, Allie, I don't know if you're on here or not, but because she fell in love with our wine, and then she's like, "Well, I want to sell wine." And so, if you're simply talking about it, it can be not even in a networking sense, but even just talking. People, you have to understand, in a new company, just simply talking about it is going to help spread brand awareness, but increase sales, increase tastings, increase team members. So,
yeah. Well, and it's also like muscle memory for us. Like the more that, or at least I found, the more that I talk about it, the more confident I am in talking about it. And
repetition.
Yeah. So, and it helps me in tastings, and the more that you can talk about it, I think the better.
Okay. So Carrie, I'll take this one since y'all were like, "What the heck about this?" Okay, so the tasting cards in the back cellar, like the ones, not in the back cellar, the ones that, are on Crazy Seller.
Is tasting cards light?
Yes. So like these, right? I have them saved on my phone, and my wine, I call them my wine lovers, the ones that are like, they're not my wine club, but they'll buy wine if I tell them. If it's like, I'm all about convenience, right? So we get a few reds in that I know Margaret likes. I'll send her pictures of 4 of the tasting cards, and she, how you can hold it and do a thumbs up. So what you can do is thumbs up, and just tell your customers at a tasting, if you don't mind, if you want to be part of my thumbs up, thumbs down, I can text you as new wines come in. I already have your credit card information. I can put your thing in. It's zero effort on your part. You just give me thumbs up, thumbs down, and give me quantities, and your order is submitted. So if you want to increase sales, like I promise you that will completely transform your business, simply doing that. And if they're already in your phone, you're in the carpool lane, you're in bed at night, text out some customers that especially if you're keeping like your customers' preferences kind of tracked, and know that someone likes a good earthy red from Europe somewhere, then just text them. Honestly, I always say my Plexus girl at the end of every month, "How are you on ProBio?" "I'm good." Or she delivered it to me today. Like, I just give her a thumbs up. Yes, I need it. I Venmo her the money. And, but we have their information already on file. They like convenience. They do not want to go on our website and order wine. It takes too long. Sometimes our website's glitchy, and I very rarely ever have, very rarely had a customer go onto my website and order wine. I do it for them. Their customer they're already in our system. So to do something like a thumbs up, thumbs down, where you text them or email them the tasting cards, I know you'll love these. You're going to get sales. I promise you. And if people say, "No, I don't want you to do that," well, cool, that's fine too. But some people are like, "I dig this wine, and all you need to do is let me know when new wine's in." And, and my friends know at the end of the month I'm in a push. So I'm like, "All right, in a month, 10% off. What do y'all want?" and I'll send like the whole like order form in a text, and then they'll just text me back and stuff. So you can do some creative things, but it just takes minimal effort, but you'll be shocked at how your business is transformed. So anyways, that's that.
Love that idea.
So Elizabeth, who had the top sales for this month, Elizabeth Eggleston, she describes, fortunes in the follow-up. So if she's going to give some good advice, basically what she does is when she has a tasting, she'll email the group after each tasting, so the host will put her on the email for the Evite or whatnot. So she has an email list, or there's a sign-in sheet. She has everybody's emails, thanking them for coming. She lists the wines that were tasted and the favorites from that night. She thanks them for ordering and mentions they can forward the email with the party link included to family and friends who may be interested or miss the event. And within the tasting, the tasting, you can find the tasting link or party link, we used to call it, and that can be included in that email. Then keep a list, like kind of Courtney mentioned, keep a list of your Chardonnay lovers, your Cab lovers, and email that list email that listserv when new ones come out. So following up again with people who've placed orders for those and following up. She also sends a big email to her customers every month, or to other people too, every month with news about the business and wines available, and always include the link. And then she copies her team on it so they can see kind of how she words it and what she says, and their customers if they want. So let's see. Her other just quick advice was the bottom line: the more parties and you host, and the more you sell, the more you expose people to the clean wine, the better the chances they see the same opportunity you do. So that was kind of her, getting team building tip. So yeah, the more you get out there, the more you sell. That's on there. Recruit and build. Send party link. Got it. Keep your wine lovers organized. Yep. So I like how she said though that she does. She'll do like a listserv for that specific wine. That's pretty cool.
And Marley Page does this really cool like Google Streak thing, and she keeps, whatever your organization method is, it may take some time to set it up, but it will result you in more as you start doing tastings and stuff. Just from the beginning, learn from our mistakes and keep people's, there's a special group of people that are your $50 and up. Like my aunt-in-law does not trust wine unless it's $50 and up. It's just her snooty pooty way. I don't know. But there are people like that. So we have our new bookbinder series coming out, and it's going to be perfect for her. And I have people, a subset of people that like that. So imagine the potential if you tracked and organized people's sales habits, when new wines come out. Again, if you make it convenient for them, then you will increase your sales without even doing a tasting. So, but you still got to do tastings to get that list going. So, all right. Okay, who wanted to take that one? You want me to?
I can do that. So I have learned this lesson. If you've heard us talk about or seen, there are several books that we all love. I think probably the first one that we all read was called Get Over Your Damn Self by a lady named Romy Neustadt. There it is. And it's fantastic. She is with a different MLM, but like built herself up, and her number one, I think, piece of advice is don't prejudge people. Meaning don't go into a conversation assuming that somebody is only going to want to be a customer, or assuming that somebody will want to be a consultant. Or when you think of all these people that you know in your mind, sorry if you can hear my husband talking in the background, he's kind of loud. When you think of all your list of people that you know, don't be like, well, I'm not going to ask them about the business because they're definitely not going to want to do it. Like, not our place to, decide for them or prejudge. It's just our place to give everybody the information, share what you're excited about, and, and see how it goes from there. And honestly, she kind of also says, if you lead with the business first, like, would you ever would you be interested in doing something like this? You know, you're excited about it. I think you would be fantastic at it. You have whatever it is that you notice about them that you love. You know, you're so fun and social and awesome, or, you know, you're a great salesperson or whatever it is. What would you think about doing something like this? And if they say no, then, you know, you can definitely always like still try to talk to them about, you know, ask for referrals. Maybe they would be interested in hosting a tasting for you. They may be one of your best customers. Like, you just don't know. So that's the whole point behind the, you know, just resist that urge to prejudge, because I've done it before. Some people that I thought, oh my gosh, they love wine, but they don't need the money. And I knew that they didn't need the money. So I thought, well, they're never going to want to be consultants. And in January, they signed up to be consultants with me. So, which was fabulous and lucky for me, you know, but had somebody else talk to them first and ask them about being consultants, then it could have turned out differently. So anyway, just keep that in mind and present all the options in conversation. And then I think Carrie was going to talk about the 3-way calls.
Yeah, so this is something learned in Romy's book as well. She'll go into more detail about this, but essentially, you know, once you have somebody that is interested in the business and you send them information, you know, email with more information, you know, really push to get them on a call with your business partner. So to give them, you can let them know, you know, if you're new, you could say, you know, this is a way, my business partner, she's been in the business longer and she can help answer, you know, questions that I might not, you know, be able to answer for you. That's a great way to get your upline on there. Or you can, if you've been in the business a while, like I've been in the business a year. And so for me to say that, it's like, well, you don't know these answers, you know, or something. So I can say, you know, let me get my business partner on the call, and, you know, she can give you another perspective about the business, just to kind of, you know, help you understand just her point of view as a full-time, as somebody who works full-time and is incredibly busy, you know, or, you know, so it depends on who you're talking to. You know, it's like if they're a teacher, you're a stay-at-home mom, say, you know, why don't I get, you know, on a call with my business partner who is a teacher as well, and she can kind of let you know how she works this around teaching, how she works this around her full-time, you know, law, you know, a career as a lawyer, career as a doctor, whatever. And we have a lot of people that are, you know, that can help out. Mostly you would go to your upline, but, you know, we can all help each other in one way or another. But essentially you call your upline, or you call your prospect, and then you say, okay, let me grab so-and-so, get them on the call. Let me get Lauren on the phone. And so on iPhones, you just look at your phone and do add call. And then I call Lauren. I'll say, hey, Lauren, okay, I have so-and-so on the phone. Let me merge you guys, and I'll kind of make an introduction. So it's not weird. You say, hey, Lauren, are you there? Are you there? Blah, blah, blah. And then you say, okay, Lauren, this is, you know, Susie. I met her during our time at college together. And Susie, this is Lauren. She's been in the business a while, and I really wanted her. She's a valuable resource, and we've been great friends for a while. You know, make a quick introduction. And then from there, you let your upline really kind of do the talking, because they've most likely heard from you about this business and so forth. So let your upline do the talking, and then, you know, they'll tell their story and answer any questions. Hopefully they've kind of read through your email, and you've probably sent them maybe compensation plan. Maybe they'll have questions about that, maybe not. And then, you know, you can close with, all right, so, you know, if you're ready to get, you know, signed up today, or if you have any questions, whatever. But also the quick tip I like to do before that call, I just kind of came up with this, is put all three of y'all on a group text together and say, hey, you know, Mary, I'm looking forward to our call. You know, or Lauren and I are looking forward to your call. We'll talk to you in about 30 minutes. And then they'll say, okay, great, or whatever. And then that just kind of lets them know, you know, puts you all together on a text, gets them, you know, nobody's going to back out. Everybody's kind of on the same page. They may have forgotten. We're all busy. And they're like, oh, you know, 30 minutes. I got this call. And then after the call, or, you know, before the call ends, you can say, all right, well, it's so great to meet you. send us a text if you have any questions. And then if anything comes up, you can send them a link. I remember I was on a call, and then there was a fantastic call we did, the opportunity call, I think. And I sent that YouTube video that Courtney uploaded. And I sent them that. And I said, hey, here's a quick video you want to watch too, if you want a little bit more information to make your decision. So that's just kind of, that'll go into more detail in that book, but that's kind of a quick rundown on how that works.
Yes. So obviously part of building is asking questions. Why are you interested in Scout and Cellar? You listen to their answers and stuff, and you'll better be able to formulate how you respond. Because if they're like, it really fits into my lifestyle, clean living or whatever, well, that wasn't personally me. But I know that several people, that's why they would have joined. So then you can kind of turn the conversation to how Scout and Cellar can help them with that. So listening is huge. And a no may just be a no, not right now. And I use Lauren as an example because Lauren right now is an executive director with Scout and Cellar. And she knowed me probably 5 times before she yesed me. And she was, to this day, probably my hardest sell, but she's very analytical. She's an attorney, etc. So she's also in Europe right now, or she'd be on our call. And so anyways, a no doesn't mean no forever. It just may mean tomorrow, not now. And if they don't get back to you, it doesn't mean you can just shoot them back some information, say, hey, I know you said now's not the right time. I just want to get you some more information. This just came out today, our latest sales numbers, or a cool new graphic we came out with, like what Sarah put out there today about, clean wine versus dirty wine, thought this was interesting. I know you said not right now, but this is interesting. So, and then you need to get over this fact of like, oh, it's an MLM or like be self-conscious and understand that you're helping them. Like you joined for a reason and you wanted to be in this company for a reason, be it money, whatever. And so you're helping them with an opportunity that is at a ground floor opportunity, an awesome company, great owner, awesome people, like great friends, everything like that. And it's wine. Hello, so don't act like you're like bugging them, be more confident in the brand and in yourself. A huge thing is 70% of consultants were customers first. And I would say almost a greater number in my group, they bought my wine first. They were at a tasting. They, are local and wanted wine. And they were consultants first. Customers first, and then they wanted to join. So that's where your team building is going to come from, is your customers. Share with everyone. Scout and Cellar is still new. Y'all, there's like 600,000 Rodan consultants, and we have 3,000. We're like not even putting a dent. People haven't even heard of us in most areas, So this is exciting. 1% of all wine right now is purchased online. And the trends in online shopping are going up. We have a huge opportunity. And Scout and Cellar is new. It's exciting, convenient, whatever. So we need to be proud of that and be shouting it. Again, that whole ask for referrals thing in a non-threatening, it's non-threatening, does anyone know of anyone? And then it'll probably end up being them selling themselves into the company. So, and feed off your excitement. Y'all just joined, you're excited, build your team now, train together. We can train you. If there's a will, we'll get you the way, and you can do this. And so if you need help booking tastings with knowledge, with all of that, we can get you there. Just feed off your excitement and build quickly your first few months. It'll be your greatest growth your first 3 months, I promise you. And then once you get a team, lead them to build team and stuff. We can help you with that. So let us know if you need any help. So these are the numbers I was saying that you need to be shouting from the rooftop. Sarah went over them, and they're just really exciting. And our projected income for our revenue in 2019 is $34 million. And I know we're going to blow that out of the water. So we're counting on you guys to help us. So I'm going to stop the share and put it back. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to unmute everyone, and you can put it back on mute if you want to, but I just unmuted everyone. So now you can ask questions. Don't be timid. You're telling me there's no questions, that y'all know everything.
We could do a cheers, like through. Right? Hold on.
Are you drinking water?
It's alkaline water. I'm being good. I can start drinking like Friday. Today.
I didn't drink on Monday.
That's good. That's really good.
Monday was a holiday.
This is Barry. I'm new to the team.
Hello.
And I had a quick question. I was looking at ordering today, and I saw that I had more options if I went under personal orders versus like customer orders. Like there were a lot more wines available. Is that normal or?
Well, those extra wines, Barry, after the wine clubs under personal orders are actually old wines that they brought back for the first anniversary. So you can order those, but Court, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
we probably don't have
last week they announced, there's some small quantities. I think it's basically we need to clean out our warehouse type thing. So they have.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, there's like 6 of this, 4 of that, 100 of these. If you want them for your own personal consumption, go for it. You know, those Coros are fantastic. I wouldn't buy them for a tasting though, because they're going to be sold out by the time you probably even get them. So I wouldn't purchase those for a tasting. And of course, there's that inventory report. So when we're talking about, you know, if you're doing a local pickup, it's no big deal. But if you're getting wine shipped and you're not doing the 2-day shipping, then you need to go look at the inventory report before you ever put in an order in, because you want to make sure there's a lot of quantity. So in the next 7 days, while you're waiting on it, it's not going to sell out.
Okay, I need to figure out what the inventory report is.
Yeah, so in the report section, you'll have your downline report, inventory report, and just always check that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Of course. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, can't hear anyone.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I had to take it off the headphones. I have a quick question about wine clubs.
Mm-hmm.
How does that reflect in your sales numbers? Is it differently than like a customer order? No. Okay.
So, right. So the wine clubs, you ideally put the first order in your party, right? And then you have to go set it up in customer center. And if you need help with that, and then that's when you set up the next shipment. So you're going to get, it won't be maybe that exact date that it swipes or whatever, but it's going to come across it in your orders. There's an order report too. It will show up as just another order. And there's also now like a, let me see if I can get on it real quick. There's a way to see like if your customer is a wine club member or not. And so, wait, Mandy, talk while I find this.
Did you say that you could put the wine club order in through the tasting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And you should
do that. Always do.
Ones.
Do what?
I said, and you should for the first one. You should do that party single order so that it will count towards your tasting, like in your host rewards.
Okay, so here we are. Let me move you guys over here. So you can enter in, you know, the tasting in your actual tasting and stuff. Let me go through. I'll show you where it's.
What you doing, girl?
Do what? Okay, so if you want to add a wine club into a tasting, there we go. You just do add to cart. So this says party single wine club orders. So you're going to add that to their cart and they're going to pay for it. You're then going to go to the customer center because you just set their first shipment. And then you're going to go into their profile. Let's say Roseanne wants one. And you're going to go in and basically set up their wine club. And let's say they want, you know, the 6-bottle red wine club. Okay. Join club now. You already set their first shipment when you bring a party order. And let's say she wants it every other month. So it's September now. Her next one will be in November. So you set it for November, okay? Bada boom, save membership. Okay, so you did the first one in the party, and then you set up their recurring shipments in Customer Center. So now when you go look at your customer memberships, I mean, y'all are just going to view all of my reports, basically. Sorry, my computer's really slow. Is this boring, y'all? So here's some of my wine clubs, active membership, and then you can, you can export this into a CSV or an Excel and sort it by wine clubs, and you can know who your active wine clubs are. And then there's also the Lord have mercy, sorry. Why is this not working? Okay, we're just gonna close this. Oh geez, my knees. All right, you can go and view, there's an area where you can look at the orders. And so there's a whole orders report. And so that's what you can do there. So,
Thank you.
Sorry, did that help? That was kind of bad. It's in a video, but I don't know if you haven't gotten that video yet, it'll be coming.
Yeah, I think Wine Clubs is like the day 7 email maybe. So don't worry if you haven't gotten that one yet. It'll be like step by step in there as well.
Okay.
This is Barry again. I've got 2 questions. One,
I don't know. I have
like,
to lay down. Hold on.
is everyone signed up for a personal like wine club membership? And so like, I mean, I drink red personally, so like I'm inclined just to get red, but do you find that it's better to do like a mix? So like business wise, and then building your business, I know it's like spend money to make money. Like how have you built that part out? Like what do you order to make sure it's going to still be in stock when you do tastings?
So that's a good question. Couple answers. Yes, I'm in the wine club. Multiple reasons. Number one, the wine in my wine club is a tax write-off. It's a business expense.
Ooh, do you hear that?
Do what?
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, y'all. Hello. If y'all don't know, one of the biggest reasons you need to be in this business is tax write-offs. And MLM is the number one. Like, join it. Okay, wait, I'm hearing like
Austin.
Okay, I think I'm pretty much muting everyone. So you're gonna have to unmute yourself. So yeah, unmute yourself if you want to talk. Sorry, I had to remute everyone. But okay, so I get my 12 mix every month. I use it for personal consumption, research, as my husband calls it. I do a lot of research. And then I use it for tastings. And I also use it for gifting, for recruiting at tastings. If someone joins my wine club, I give them a bottle. If someone joins my team, I give them a bottle. And so what do I do with wine that is sold out? That is the best way to sell, like for a wine club, you know, at the end of a tasting, hey guys, if you join my wine club tonight, I'm going to give you a bottle of this or this. These are sold out wines. This is a perfect example of small vineyards, small lots, and these guys sold out in 14 days. And if you want one of these, believe me, they're amazing. And if you join my wine club, you can take one home today. So it really works. And they're great for gifting and everything. So A lot of people love doing tastings with sold out wine because they're like, we're not even selling the actual wine that they're tasting. We're selling the idea of Scout and Cellar, the wine club, and you can read about each individual wine if you want, but it doesn't matter if the wine is sold out, I guess. So also there's a lot of wine club exclusives that are phenomenal. So, and lastly, in your first auto ship and every ship after that, there's a 10% coupon. That coupon can be compounded on other discounts. Now, what does that mean? I've done at the end of the month for a few select customers, 20% off case discounts. So I do that because they get a 10% case, like 10% off 12 bottles, plus my 10% coupon. So I say if you, at the end of the month, to select few customers, you want a case, I'll give you 20% off. That's like 3 bottles of wine free. You're not gonna have many people turn that down. So that's another value you can do with your 10% off coupons. They can be compounded. So anyways, that's kind of the value of the wine club. And it's easy to track tax deduction. I am hearing crickets because I muted everyone. So if you want to talk, please unmute yourself. Can we get someone to say, oh, that's fun?
That is fun.
Oh, thank you, Carrie.
I was at the super fancy winery in Napa. It's like the upper echelon of Kendall Jackson, and they were tasting wines that weren't even in existence. I mean, that you say that, so it's so true, and it's just selling the brand exactly like you said, and it's when we first started, we had 7 to 10 wines, and we'd get them and they'd be out of inventory, and we just really learned that you're here tasting these clean crafted wines because people might have an idea in their head that if it's organic or no added sugar or vegan or whatever you're saying, that it's going to taste any different. And I always say, this is going to be like eating a peach on the side of the road in Fredericksburg at the perfect time that peaches are supposed to be grown, and this is just to give you an idea of what our wines are like. And then now that Courtney mentioned tonight, as you're pouring, say, we're currently out of stock on this one. It was in such high demand, and we may get another vintage in of this same wine, but I can suggest this wine and this wine and this wine that we currently have in stock, if you want something similar. So just going off of what you're saying.
Well, and a good point to make too is that the quality is always going to be there because our standards are the same across the board. The lab testing is the same across the board. Sarah's palate is choosing every one of them. So the quality is always going to be there in every wine. And if they happen to get a wine that they really do not like, which I have in a year, I've had this one time, we have the satisfaction guarantee, and corporate is really good about honoring that and issuing that credit if that needs to be issued. But most of the time it's just like if somebody's like, oh, well, maybe I got a Pinot and it was too light for me or something, I'll go with a heavier red next time, but not like oh, this is terrible kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think using those sold out wines is a great opportunity to make that point that like, this is what clean crafted tastes like versus mass produced, and that the quality is always going to be there. And that's why we lab test, so that we can guarantee that.
Totally. And once you start going, well, because I can't drink other wine, I can't drink dirty wine. So once you do like a side-by-side taste, when I was in Houston for like a fun, get together with some of the team, and I threw in a Fit Vines wine in there to see if anyone would notice. And like a couple people like spit it out, and they were like, please tell me this is not a Scout and Cellar wine. Because it had like that aspartame taste, and it's so nasty. So anyways, once you start drinking only clean wine, it's really hard to go back to wine that has thickening agents and additives, mega purple, all that stuff. Like I give the Meiomi example, like my college friends, they love the Meiomi Pinot Noir. And I was like, it's as thick as cough syrup. Like, how are y'all drinking that crap? And so ever since I said that, they're like, I can't believe you just said the word thick in wine. Like, that is so gross. And I'm like, right. Do you know how many thickening agents are in this glass? And like the color additives and all of that. And you know how many chemicals are in Meiomi? Like, you would barf. So they're like ruined. So once you start tasting clean wine, you'll go back to other wine and be like, that's just disgusting. So, yep. So, and also simply knowing that, you know, your Kim Crawford Sauv in 95 sold great. So you know what, in 96, we're going to chemically alter it to taste just like 95. And then 97 and, you know, 2018, it still tastes like 1995 because they chemically alter their wine to taste the exact same because it's all about the money. When the environment was not the same, the wind direction was not the same, the, you know, environmental factors were all different. And so it basically is chemically altering something that's supposed to be grapes and native yeast. And that's about it. And a touch of sulfite so it doesn't turn to vinegar is what Sarah says. But no, we don't need the grapes to sit in a truck and have them dousing it with sulfites just so while it's baking in the sun waiting to go somewhere, it doesn't have like fungus and bacteria growing all over it. Like, that's not the way we roll. So I'm getting all like gangsta on this wine. So anyways, so any other questions? Going once. You won't hear from us for 2 weeks. So are you sure there's no more questions? Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, right. You know, I'm going to have like post tomorrow, been like, hey guys. Did y'all learn anything tonight? Just like one thing. Okay. Well, good. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. It was awesome. And please reach out to us if you have any questions, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Thank you.